Dario, thank you for joining us on the pod and welcome to the football club. How are you finding Brighton so far?
Firstly, thank you. No, really enjoyable. I've sort of, throughout the first month, I've been staying in Brighton at a hotel, then moved to Worthing, at a hotel there. So I moved in yesterday, so that was...
Oh, good.
So, starting to settle in now, and it's been awesome. I think it's a lovely part of the world, and then also, very privileged and lucky to be coming to work here every single day. So, really enjoyed it, and now just, looking forward to getting started with the season ahead.
Not quite as hot as home.
Yeah, not quite. So this is maybe like a winterish day sometimes, depending where in Australia. But no, it's been beautiful. So I can't complain. Really enjoyed it, but unfortunately, everyone's been sort of saying don't get too used to it. That the cold's not too far away. But I've spent a bit of time in Europe, so I'm sure it won't be that bad.
I'm struck by this image of you sitting on your sofa at home in Melbourne, I think it was, and the phone going, and the next minute you're on a plane to the UK. You're flying for 24 hours to start a new life, a new job. That's. I mean, it was an exciting opportunity, but that's a big upheaval for somebody, isn't it, to take that on? But what's it been like for you?
Look, I think I'm sort of used to it because as a footballer, it was a sort of similar journey from Australia, and then one season in Oz, and then over to Germany. So, and then throughout my career, going all over the world. So, but it was one of those sort of surreal ones where. It was, I was contacting a lot of agents throughout the off-season, trying to get in contact, trying to sign players and prepare as well as possible for our upcoming season. And, I quickly opened the message expecting it was from one of the agents of a player, and then I'm starting to read it, and I see, Mike from Brighton Hove Albion, and then, we spoke a little bit that night, set up a call the next evening, had a video call the evening after, and then one more the after, and then they was offered the job, and what felt went really fast and went really slow with the whole visa process. So then that was sort of pushed back, and they were looking for other information, and it was just once the green light was given, then it was a very easy decision. Yeah,
it sounds like you didn't hesitate very much. Was it hard saying goodbye to the Melbourne players because you just won the league, of course? So they must have been in shock.
Yeah, it was. So I think everyone knows Stoddy quite well. So they asked her obviously about me, and so she pulled me aside and just said, "Is this you that they're talking about?" So, look, I had a fantastic relationship with the girls. I've been with some of them for a couple of years and watched them develop and grow, and then to have the success that we did as well was fantastic. And we're probably a little bit unlucky in the grand final as well. We put on probably our best performance of the year, and unfortunately just. The result didn't go our way that evening, but, left a lot of good people. But I found that, here as well, there's a lot of great people within the club that have, made me feel really welcome, and hopefully we can have a similar success as well.
As soon as you opened that message, did it kind of get you a little bit, were you on the hook as soon as you saw the opportunity come to the WSL?
I think so, yeah. I'm sort of one that never goes too high and never too low because it's sort of, you never know. It can, visa could get blocked, or this could happen or that could happen. So it's sort of, it's always nice to have that recognition that you're doing something well. And I sort of thought, I didn't have an agent. It wasn't something that I was, looking to do, and I was desperate to get overseas and do that. I was fully planning next season, signing up players, getting the squad ready on video calls late at night, and then started having the video calls with Brighton, and a club of that stature, and it was one that I was following on the men's side, that I was really enjoying the football that they were playing, and I was getting some inspiration from there. And funnily enough, in my office, I had a little Brighton Hove Albion pendant. I bought so that was hanging in my office. My son has a Brighton Hove jersey before this all happened.
Any reason why?
My kit man, he gave me a Brighton Hove, just because I liked Brighton. Okay. I enjoyed, it was sort of, I enjoyed the football, and I just really like football and enjoyable football, and I really liked, how they played, and whenever there was an opportunity, if it wasn't 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, that I'd be up and I'd watch, and I'd probably push a little bit for the next day for our training session. But it was download the games to watch them after on Y Scout. So it was just something. I'm not too sure why, but then it's funnily enough that Brighton reach out. So sometimes it's a funny way of how the world works, and it was. So that's probably what made it very easy then to say yes as well.
Who was in charge when you were watching?
De Zerbi, Roberto, yeah.
Okay.
So he was, yeah. And he's sort of a coach that I've, from previously when he was at Shakhtar and Sassuolo, sort of followed him along, Pep and these sorts of coaches. So, as a young coach, just trying to learn as much as possible, watching the highest level. And yeah, sort of, liked, Brighton as a sort of the club and all those sort of facets together. And maybe a little bit of that, not to say underdog, but a little bit, seen maybe, away from the big four, that sort of speak. So it was that, it's always easy to jump on board and to support, the Liverpools and the Cities. So I sort of found that other club that, and I enjoyed the football that they were playing. And so it was, yeah.
It's a nice badge of honour to come with, to be the champion, to have won the league, to come here as a league-winning coach. Tell us how you did that. What was your methodology for building a title-winning women's team? What are your basic principles of coaching and management?
Look, very simple attacking. So we want to be dominant with the ball. We want to win it back as quick as possible. So and it takes time. And I'm really big on development of the players. So I'll never cheat their development for a result. So we'll always stick to our principles. We'll always play the way we play. I'll analyse the opponent, how we can hurt them, but we'll always stick to our principles and the way we play, regardless of, who that is, whether it's a friendly game, whether it's a cup final, whether it's in the league away to Chelsea, who are last year's champions. So it's sort of, we won't sway too far from what we do, and then we'll evolve, and it's going to be a fun process, and one that the girls have taken in a lot of information to start with, and I think it's starting to sort of take shape, and the more we practice, the more we get the games in, and we see those pictures. I think it'll be a fun season ahead.
So you wouldn't have we like to pin a style of play on managers, don't we? Can we pin one on you, or are you more of a pragmatist?
I was sold at attacking. When he opened up with attacking, I was sold.
Yeah, that's him.
Yeah, look, it depends how much time we've got, and I could talk here all day about all the principles, and then the phases, the sub phases, and reading different forms of pressure. But if I sort of break it down, I've never been one to coach sort of that. It's attacking. We want to dominate the ball. If I break it as simple as possible, we want to play in the opponent's half, that if they move their goal that they want to score in to halfway, that they still can't score. So we don't want to just keep possession for the sake of it at the back, and we have 60-70%, but we've done nothing with it. So it's possession with a purpose. We lock teams in, and then as soon as we lose it, we can counter press, and we just regain the ball, and we just go like wave after wave of attack. And that's probably the simplest way to put it.
Yeah, I like it.
Before you came to the football club, did you have a look at the squad and feel as though they were capable of putting your tactics in place?
Yeah, I watched. Again, it's one that was difficult to watch. I tried to watch a couple games, but unfortunately, they all kick off at like 1 a.m, and then I'm up at 6:45 to head to work in Melbourne. So it was always difficult, but tried to download a couple games, and obviously at City we had the sort of relation with Manchester. So we tried to also, get some of their footage to just see, what the teams over here were doing. And, then once it all started, then I started to watch a little bit more. And, especially the girls, I think there's a lot of potential there. So a lot of things that also could improve. But I think we've got, a lot of good players, and now it's just instilling that. And it is a little bit different to what they've done. So there's some stuff that I've told them that they've probably been taught completely different, probably from a child. So now it's just about changing those behaviours and a few different things. And then I think, we show them the video, we show them, training, but once you experience it and then you get success from it, that's when the belief will start to really get there. So I think they're starting to get that a little bit. They're starting to see the picture. And but yeah, it's been really, really good how much they've taken on in a very short amount of time. We're looking forward to in Spain, where we'll spend 10-ish days or so together, and then we can really sit down, go into detail of how we can progress it, how we can read different, because in a game it's we can target say our 10, that'll be the out, but then after 5-10 minutes, or once we've exploited that, teams will naturally change. So we got to be able to then change. So my coaching is a lot on adapting sort of to the opponent and reading. Well, that they have the answers to whatever happens. Yeah. So it's never like, okay, this is the tactic. We know that space will be open. If we could exploit it, but not score. And then after a while, if maybe the opposition coaches don't see it, players have the tendency to know, okay, they keep getting it, whether it's maybe Fran, for example. All right, now we're going to have to, so now we need to have another mechanism to exploit the new space. So it's about identifying that space, how we manipulate the space, and then, how we can ideally score as many goals as possible.
Make it sound easy.
Yeah, hopefully it'll be that easy.
Tell me if I've missed any countries, but I reckon you played in Australia, Germany, New Zealand, China, India and Switzerland. That suggests a hell of a desire to keep playing. Why did you move around so much as a player?
I think it's always that you always hope, from Australia when you're young, you want to go overseas. And then I think it's sometimes you need a little bit of luck as well, that it's at the right time. So I was in Germany for about 4 years, went to a team that was, highly successful, won the German Cup, and then unfortunately the year after got relegated with an even better squad. So then it probably became hard for a young 19, 18-year-old from Australia to maybe get as many opportunities. So got to a point then where it was just sort of like just to go back, play some minutes and continue the development on that side. And then, had another opportunity in Switzerland, and a few problems there with an owner that was a bit crazy. And then that sort of took it out of me a little bit, and then just searched to play. I've always wanted to play that sort of attacking brand. I thought like I suited that, and just love to have the ball. And when we didn't have the ball, I'd run out and press by myself just to try win it back. So always sort of had that within me, and so that's why when I became a coach, it was sort of I could now put together the football that I wanted to play that maybe I didn't get the chance to throughout my career.
Was that always the pathway? Did you know from early on, I'm going to go into coaching management?
I think so, yeah. My dad probably played a big part of that. He's been a coach as well, and so probably sort of following in his footsteps, and then probably the Barcelona of Pep when he came in. So that's probably around that 25, 26 years old. That's where I started to have that fascination with tactics, and then watching them how they played, and that was breathtaking football what they were doing back then. So whenever I had the opportunity, I was watching. If I missed the game, I would find a way to download it, to watch it, ask the coaches at the club if they could download it for me. So it was just, especially like, Messi as well and all these guys, what they were doing. So that's sort of where that deeper fascination started. And then also then the discussions with my dad. And then so it was always, and then when I played, I started, my coaching badges, sort of preparing for after football. And got an opportunity in the City Academy, and then joined in onto the women's side not long after. And then my father got moved to the men's first team, and then we were one day away from travelling to New Zealand for round one, and they told me I'll be taking the job. So it was straight into the deep end, but it was really, really enjoyable, and I learnt a lot in that first season and last year. So just continuing to learn, because it's only coming into my third year as a head coach, so I know there's still a lot to learn. So I'm every day just enjoying the process and enjoying, coaching the players.
Because you moved to Australia from Croatia when you were young, when your father got a job at Queensland Reds, didn't you? So he's obviously, so you've been very close to the game from a very young age through him, I guess.
Yeah.
And so he shaped you as a coach and a player?
I think so, yeah. So he was always one that, when I played, he would always give up his hours to drive me everywhere around the state, and Australia is massive. So so those were some, big trips, and, whether it was indoor or, there would be bus trips of like 15, 16 hours, I think, to Canberra for nationals, and different tours that we went on. So, financial and also time, and driving me around to, help me achieve my dreams and that. So I was always, grateful to my parents, and now being a father, I understand that as well, how, not just on the field, but everything else that goes with raising kids. And, so I owe a massive part, to my parents for helping me to achieve everything I have. But, it was always sort of in his footsteps. And as a player, I was always asked, my performances, how I did, what could I improve? And then similar to coaching, when I was at City, I'd ask him, to send me his halftime notes as well, because there was times I didn't have an assistant coach at the time. So, so then I used him as an assistant coach. He would watch the games, and then I would run my notes along with him, what he saw, maybe from a different perspective to mine. So he's helped a lot. He's helping at the moment as well. So
right.
Were the notes always similar?
Quite similar. So he might see something that maybe I couldn't see just from that angle, but a lot of it would be fairly similar, which was good. But there'd be the odd thing that he's seen that that could make a difference. So and it's a similar thing now where he's jumping on huddle, he's watching the training sessions, and
so here
he'll come in a couple weeks. He'll join us as well. So
will he come to the first league game? Will he be there?
Possibly. So it's probably another couple more weeks, and then he'll make his way over.
Right. There are people who say that Melbourne is the greatest sporting city in the world. We like to think it's London, but Melbourne is an incredible place. Obviously the MCG and the Australian Open tennis, the Grand Prix. Did you really live the sporting life when you were in Melbourne? Were you part of that?
Not so much, I don't think. I was fully immersed in football.
Right.
So I'll just go to Amy Park, watch for our games or for the men's games, and if the Formula One was on, I'd probably just watch it on TV. I think I had opportunities. I didn't go. I think I've been to one AFL game. Mm-hmm. That was, I think, towards the end of our season, a semi-final at the MCG. So it was a nice experience. I found it a little bit boring, if I'm being honest, the game towards the end, because, again, it was sort of like I was trying to see some sort of like tactical element to the game, and then it sort of got really cagey towards the end, a lot of long balls. It was very tense in the stadium. It was very, very close, elimination semi. 100,000 people was a nice experience, but I was sort of trying to watch it in a different way. So then that probably got me a little bit bored of that game. I've sort of just been put all my time to try help the players and to whatever I can find that we can improve or improve an individual. So I give up my time there, and then the rest is family time.
Is that the problem when you become a manager or a coach? You're always trying to break sports down. You can't actually sit back, relax, and just watch them for what they are.
Probably a little bit, yeah. So you sort of get in that tendency, but sometimes you just try to be a fan and just enjoy it. So that's probably something I'm really looking forward to go to the Amex, and just hearing that atmosphere when you watch it on TV, and also watching some of the documentaries and how much it means to people. Watching teams in relegation, fans are there in tears, but they're still there supporting their club no matter what. So I think there's a fascination of that, because I've always been a fan of football. I've loved it ever since I was a kid. I had a VHS of the 1990 World Cup, and can't tell you how many times I watched that. I think my parents said when I was young I'd go around telling people that Roberto Baggio was my uncle.
Hopefully you stopped watching at the semi-final point.
So then, I had all these players that I sort of looked up to, and so there was always that fascination, and always been a fan watching games. So I'm looking forward to that experience at Amex to support the men's team, and sometimes just to take in the atmosphere and watch it from that perspective. But back to the question, sometimes you do find yourself just trying to see like what it is, and then maybe can we apply it, even if it's a different sport, can it maybe be applied in some way to football perhaps?
Just thinking of your dad again, is there any lingering Croatian influence, do you think, in your coaching, and certainly his approach to the game? Because there's such a strong culture and identity in football in Croatia, isn't there? Did he take that to Australia with him?
Look, possibly, yeah. I think so, because I think with everything that Croatia's achieved in its sort of short span, for a very small country, the success they had and player development just seemed to keep, like, every time that golden generation goes, it's like, all right, they're probably going to fall away a bit, and then from Boban to Šuker, then you get Modric come in, and then Kovacic, and then you got others that are now starting to come in that we probably don't even know of yet, that will probably take over the mantle from these guys. So so I think it's always been that sort of similar fascination in Croatia, to play attacking, to be technically very, very good, to all these things that we see with the national team. So I think it certainly would have had an influence.
But had a population, probably the most overachieving nation in certainly men's football and world football, isn't it?
Yeah, I would say so, yeah.
Constantly in the quarterfinals, always in knockout competitions and tournaments. Yeah.
There's even a bit of an influx in England of those Australian managers, that Croatian background in Postecoglou as well, and Miljedenak under him at Spurs. You guys starting to take over, aren't you?
I'm not too sure. Look, it's good to see, fellow Aussies doing well, and Mile, I was roommates with him in the national team camps when we were at World Cups together, so know Mile really, really well. And Ange, he was my coach when I was when I was younger, and then when I'd come back from overseas on holidays, I'd join in with his teams in Brisbane, and just to stay fit, and really enjoyed, the training sessions and being there. So, I think it's great. It's great to see, fellow Aussies, because sometimes because we're so far away, they probably think, it's, not being maybe AFL being the number one sport, we're probably known as a country for other sports, cricket, rugby league, so probably swimming as well, probably what we're most renowned for. But, I think there's a massive passion of football in the country, and so it's nice that there's a couple of us, at the highest level and doing well, and hopefully it's a platform then for others to also achieve success.
Well, I think Big Ange has been welcomed by Premier League fans. I think they all enjoy his brand of football, and hopefully you'll have a similar impact in the WSL.
Yeah, no, it would be awesome.
Are you aware, because if you're not, you will be soon, about the rivalry between the English and Australia? It's a wonderful rivalry. It's intense. It's particularly felt in cricket, but it's everywhere. If you had to say who are the main rivals in English sport, you'd say, well, maybe Scotland, maybe Germany, but definitely Australia.
Yep.
So have you picked up any of that yet, and do you expect to?
Well, if it was, I wouldn't have known, because everyone's been so nice and welcoming to me. So
wait till you get out of here.
Yeah, maybe. So now, look, I knew about it obviously with the cricket, especially, and probably maybe with the Union as well. They've had those two of the best teams in the world, and they've had those with Ashes and World Cups and all those different things. So, I'm aware of it. So hopefully the Aussies win, and then I can have a bit of banter with everyone.
Yeah. Is it fair to say that Australian sports people bring certain characteristics to sport? I mean, one is obviously fighting quality, determination, toughness. Are they cliches, or do you think that's true?
I think so. I think it's always that. I think if I think about it, you need that. I think regardless, I think to make it to the top level, everyone needs that. And we sort of don't want to just be known for that. We want to be, that we, whether it's good coaches or good players. But I think, every professional sports person has to have those qualities to make it to the top, and then to stay at the top, because it's one thing is to get there, then it's a completely different thing to stay for a long period of time and to have success and to survive, and you need that to work hard, to sacrifice, all these different things, and that's why the best people make it to the top, I suppose.
When Fabian Herzler came in, he said, there's a very telling phrase, he said, I want to challenge the establishment. Have you got that urge as well in the WSL to take it to those big name clubs?
Oh, for me, I'm planning on winning it. So, at the start of the season, everyone starts 0 points. There's no advantage to Chelsea or City or Arsenal, who were towards the top last year. So, until it's mathematically impossible that we can't win, then that'll be the aim. Every game we go out, we'll go out to win. So if we win every game, that means we're champions. But that's sort of my mentality. I'll never go into a game thinking, let's try to get a draw today, or let's, close up shop and just be hard to beat. So we won't sway from how we play, and how I said to the girls on the first day, all the badges could be coloured in black, because I'm not interested. I've sort of seen a little bit. I think they can all be not exploited, but that we can beat everyone if that's sort of So we'll try to make us as best as possible, and there's no real consideration of any other team until we face them that weekend.
That's a great message for the players to hear, because if you came in and said, we're going to stabilise, we're going to consolidate, we're going to see how we go, that's completely different from coming in and saying we're just going to try and win every game. We're going to win. No,
that's I'll never change. So I think, Brighton have the goal of top 4, but I think, and it's to be fair, it's a great goal, but you sort of put a ceiling on it. So then if you go 4th, okay, happy days, where we've achieved it, but there's still 3 more spots that we can go. So I think ideally, we want to be up there, but we want to be up there competing and trying to win trophies as well.
Mm.
You must be, when you got that call and Brighton said that they want to crash that top 4 party in the WSL, that must be music to your ears.
Yeah, so it perfectly aligns, and I think I told them as well. I said, I want to win it. So that'll be the aim every single season. Whether or not we achieve it, we'll see at the end. But that going out again won't matter. what sort of game, friendly game, cup game, Champions League game, league game, it'll always be the same mentality that we go out to win, because if we practice like that and then if we change the message, then we go away from what we're about. So now to say we want to be on the front foot, we want to have the ball, we want to press, and now to say, oh, XYZ are coming to town, oh, we're going to now drop off and we're going to do everything completely different. So I think then you have to coach two completely different brands. So we'll know how to do that, but we don't want to do that for long periods, because good teams everyone will have moments when games happen. You know, even the best teams in the world, they have to defend for some moments, but largely we want to dominate. We want to play in the opponent's half, and that'll be no different to whoever we play.